Hi, so today I'm going to show you guys how I do my creative eyeshadow. I'm going to be doing a blue, green, yellow look, and I'm also going to be doing a double cut crease and gradient eyeliner. So I'll show you guys all my tips and tricks, how I do it, what brushes I use, what products I use. So I'm going to do my face makeup off camera, so that way I can just showcase the eyeshadow, and I'll come back when that's done. Okay, so I already finished my face makeup off camera. I'm gonna go ahead and get started on my eyes. So a good tip from me to you is if you're gonna do creative eyeshadow like this, use a wet base on your eyes. Like, don't set it with any powder. I just use my foundation because I have the P. Louise base, but I'm like really, what's the word? Stingy. That's a good word. I'm pretty stingy with the P. Louise because it's kind of expensive and I can't get it anywhere near me. Or I can order it online, but I don't want to pay for shipping and all that. I don't have to like travel to get the P. Louise, so I just said forget it. And I've had one thing last me like forever. I mean, I don't think it's too expensive, but the foundation that I use is the NARS one, so that's also expensive, so it's kind of like contradictory, but who really cares? I'm gonna answer a few questions while I put on my wet base. And someone asked me how many piercings I have. I have my industrial, but I don't have anything in it right now. My industrial, so these two, my tragus, my triples on both ears, my conch, and my triple forward helix, which is these three, and then my 3 nose piercings. Love them all. Want to get more? I think I might get my Dave. I think that's right here on this side, because I think that'd be so cute. But I need to get like a set of jewelry that I can put like all my piercings together because they're just not cohesive right now. I was gonna do black and green, but I don't have a green conch, so it's blue, which is fine, but so now that that's on, I kind of just let it like sit for a second or two just to like settle in. But I'll show you guys what palettes I'm gonna use. So my favorite palettes that I've ever used, the James Charles palette is really, really good, great, but I wanted brighter colors because I noticed with those they were like a little bit muted and I wanted more like super, super, super intense. So I used the Carnival palettes from Be Perfect Cosmetics. This is the Love Tahiti one. As you can see, huge variety of colors, right? This blue here, beautiful. Just all these colors are perfect. This is their third one, and I also have the first and the second one. Here's the first one. Right? She's still cute. Perfect. I think this is the number 2. Okay, the mirror's broken. But, oh. Okay, the mirror's broken. But I'm thinking this is the one that I'm gonna use today. I might also dip into this one too, but I'll probably mostly use this one, which is the Carnival XL. So like their number 2. So the brush that I'm using right now is the Morphe x Jaclyn Hill JH50. So it's just like a regular flat brush. And I'm gonna go into the shade Mood, which is like a dark navy color. First things first, I start above where my crease is, just because I like to have like a super defined crease line. And I feel like if you put it underneath, like where your crease is, it just doesn't, like I feel like I just cover it up, you know what I mean? So I'm just gonna create a winged out shape. I want it to move like up here, so you can create like your guideline to where you want to follow. But it doesn't really matter how messy you are. Like if you get on your eyelid, it's fine because you're just gonna carve it out later. And it is kind of hard to like get the hang of packing and blending your eyeshadows on a wet base because it is kind of confusing at first because you're like, how am I supposed to do anything? But you just have to put the product down first, then start blending it out. Otherwise it's just gonna be a big mess. So now that that eye is done, I'm gonna do the other eye off camera. So now that the other eye is all done, I'm going to explain what I'm doing and answer some questions that you guys asked me on my Instagram and my TikTok. I'm going back in with the Carnival XL and dipping into the shade Make Waves. I'm just gonna blend out the blue. Also, pro tip, holding a brush, some people hold their brush like this, don't do that. Hold it from down here. That's how I get like a really good gradient. So Calista Mortez asks where I get my colored contacts from. I get my contacts from Honey Color. My Sclera lenses, I'm pretty sure I got it from scleralenses.com. And like they work for me. So Glam with Loza asks, how did I start getting into makeup? When I was younger, my older sister used to do her makeup all the time. and just like any younger sister just wants to be like the older sister. I started doing it too, same way she did. She still does makeup to this day, and she does it really well. She's really good at makeup, but she is what inspired me. So I was like, oh my gosh, she looks so good. So I went ahead and just started doing my own makeup, kind of doing more creative eyeshadow looks. And now here I am. She also asked me who are my favorite influencers. I really love Abby Roberts. She's really cool. She has some really amazing work. When I was younger, because before I started getting into creative eyeshadow, I was really into special effects makeup. And the person that I watched for that was Made You Look on YouTube. She definitely has inspired me a lot. James Charles, of course, does some crazy eyeshadow looks. His videos definitely inspired me to want to make more YouTube videos. But now I'm gonna go in with the shade The Hype in the Carnival XL palette, and I'm gonna put that right over that blue color. And Glam with Loza also asks how I stay motivated. Honestly, I'm constantly searching through Instagram, YouTube, TikTok for inspiration, and once I get like that little inkling of inspiration, I usually just take that and absolutely run with it. Like, I don't hold myself back. Even if it seems like it's out of my comfort zone, I'll still do it because that's just more practice for me. I think a good tip is to do things that are really out of your comfort zone, because if you don't, you'll never know your potential. You know what I mean? Because if I didn't step out of the makeup that I used to do, I would have never known that I could do creative makeup like this. Ghost X Baby on Instagram asks me, have I ever had any dental work? No, I have not had braces. I've gotten cavities. Like, I mean, I got like a cavity filled like last week. I doubt that's what you're asking. And she also asks passions outside of makeup. So, oh, someone also asked this question. Subu.beauty asked me like what I want to do for my career. So I actually went to beauty school in 2018. I started beauty school the day after I turned 18, and I went to school to be an esthetician. So at first I was like, okay, I'm gonna learn makeup, right? And right then and there, like in the meeting, they told me like, hey girl, like it's not really all makeup. And I was like, okay, whatever. So I got into there and I fell in love with skincare. Skincare is so fun to me. It's so fun helping other people out with their skin, because I know I had a lot of issues with my skin when I was younger. My friends did. And just seeing, you know, how it changes your confidence. I'm going back in with the dark blue shade just to kind of darken it up again. Like, seeing people feel insecure because of their skin, it's never fun. Everybody's been there before. I went to beauty school, graduated in January 2019, and I worked at Ulta as their skin therapist. Favorite job. I love everybody there. I love working there. I love working with clients, but right now I can't work because of the pandemic, obviously. I feel like I've helped so many people, like just hearing people's feedback and them telling me like, oh, specifically this one client that I had, she could not figure out how to fix her skin. She was going to dermatologist, esthetician, she couldn't figure out. And I was recommending products for her, and I was like, listen, like no matter what, if it doesn't work out for you, please come back to me. Like, we will figure out something that works for you. And after maybe like, I think it was the second try that I gave her like a routine, and she was so happy with me, and it made me feel so good. She felt so confident, and like it just makes me so happy, like helping people out, like giving people tips. It's like just makes me feel super happy. So now I'm going in with the shade Keen, which is a yellow shade to blend out the green. Catherine Petrova on TikTok asks something that I find hard in makeup still. I still find everything like pretty complicated. I get nervous, I get worked up. I just, sometimes it just makes me like I'll sell myself short and be like, I don't think I can do that. But then turns out, you know, it turns out way better than I expected. Sometimes I have problems with my skulls, like the teeth. I never know what to do for the teeth. That's one of the hard things for me, is doing skull teeth. So yeah, skull teeth are super hard for me. But I would say I still find like super thin lines like on my eyes really hard. Even though it might seem like it's super easy, it takes a lot of back and forth. A lot of practice goes into it. Anna Semensinski asks what my favorite brushes are. Morphe brushes. I know people have had some bad experiences with them before, but I personally have always had good experiences. Like, of course, like sometimes the tip will fall off, like that's gonna happen, especially with brushes that are half the price as a majority of other brushes, but I mean, it doesn't really bug me. Like, barely any of them have broken, so. A pastel makeup palette. I know Morphe has a really nice pastel makeup palette that they came out with not too long ago. I want to say like maybe it was long ago because I was still working. Like last holiday season, I believe, they came out with one, and I've heard amazing things about it. I personally don't use pastels, but what paints and eyeliners do I use? For face paints, I just recently got the CC Beauty palette, like face palette from Amazon. and I just can't figure out how to work with stuff like that. Like, other than that, though, I use the Krylon ones, but I can't find a translucent powder that works well for me. So, I don't really know what the plan is. How do I make my colors pop? Ask Katie Burns. I use a wet base. Nothing else, just like wet concealer. And hope for the best. That's usually how I do it. Pack the shades on instead of just like swiping all around. Real JTR asked me what inspired me to do creative makeup. So when I first started doing makeup, right, I see these girls on my Instagram, and it was always like, you know those videos of girls like laying down in the makeup chair and they're like getting like a cut crease? I saw those videos and I was like, oh my gosh, like that is so pretty. Like, how do they do that? Like, it's crazy. I wish I could do something like that. And I would see like these crazy makeup looks, like crazy special effects. I'm like, I want to do that. Like, one day, like I need to do that. I need to try it out and see how it works. I always told myself that I would try it out one day. You know, I would try out the special effects because I was so intrigued and I loved the way that it looked. I was like, one day, I'll try it. Just try it. And then I started getting into special effects. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is kind of fun. Like, this is kind of cool. And then I started seeing people do like creative eyeshadow and like using a bunch of colors and stuff, which I had never seen before. Like maybe just like a little bit of blue here and there, but like crazy cut creases. I was like, oh my gosh, like that is so crazy. Like, how do people even do that? And slowly I started working my way from just regular natural makeup, learning how to do cut creases. And I remember when James Charles's palette came out, I remember people always would say, use a wet base, use a wet base. And I was like, what is the point of using a wet base? Like, geez, I was really scared of you doing it because of how like the brush kind of skips. And so I never did it. And then the day after I got my James Charles palette, I did it, practiced on my arm with a wet base. And I was like, why do the colors kind of pop though? Why do the colors kind of pop? And changed my game ever since. And from then on, I was like, this is the way to go. And also another tip is, instead of for like eyeliner and stuff, like my really thin like double cut creases, I use nail brushes. They're from Amazon and they were like $8 for like a pack of 6 or something, I think, maybe 5, but they're amazing and they're perfect. Okay, now I'm gonna cut my crease. So people are kind of flaming me a little bit on TikTok because I take a foundation and cut it first and then clean it with a Q-tip, but I'm nervous, so I need a guideline. And that's just the way that I do it, folks, okay? I'm gonna take a flat brush, just any regular flat brush, and I'm gonna go above my crease line, but right, you see where like this part meets my nose? I'm gonna follow that this way, but try and keep it underneath where the darkest part is, because you still want to have that depth. Like, you still want to make it look like a crease, so follow that line where like your nose meets. And it doesn't really matter like how you do it. I would just say try to tap, not swipe, because if you tap, or you know, if you swipe, it'll make the concealer a different color. And keep in mind, it doesn't have to be like crazy precise because you're gonna clean it anyways. And then once I kind of have like that, I just pull it down so that way it'll clean off the rest of the blue. And then I like to go like way up because then it just looks so much better that way. Okay, so now that that's all cut, I'm gonna take a Q-tip. I use these double-sided pointed Q-tips, but they're expensive and you don't need that. And plus, like, you only use it for like maybe like 1 or 2 swipes. Just get regular Q-tips because it's just better overall. And I just carve out that extra bit, so that way I'll have a clean space ready for the next step. Okay, now that this eye is done, I'm gonna do this eye off camera and then I'll come back for the next step. Okay, so now that that's all done, I'm gonna take my P. Louise. How frustrating of me. Okay, so I actually just did this step for nothing because I could have honestly just did it right there. So give me just 2 seconds. All right, so we're just gonna go with the flow again. So like I said, I use nail brushes. See, that's like super thin and it works perfectly for me. So first things first, I'm gonna do blue to green to yellow. So you absolutely don't need to do the step. I'm just confused for some reason, So everyone always asks me what paints I use. I use these Suva Beauty Hydro Liners. These are Fanny Pack, Dance Party, and Tracksuit. My favorite liners to use because they're water activated and they just make it super easy. So I'm taking my small nail brush and I'm gonna start with the blue and mix it with a little bit of water I use contact solution because that's what I have right near me at this moment. And then you just kind of have to wait and let it sit for a sec. Make sure like all like the moisture is like over the whole top. Okay, so now that my eyeliner is kind of all like set in and thick, like a regular eyeliner, I'm just gonna go in and follow my crease line. And the underneath can be messy because we're gonna cut that part out anyways. Oh, also, speaking of, Blair Nico 22 asked how I keep a steady hand. So when I'm working on my eye, I rest my hand on my cheek. And when I'm doing my full face, I hold my hand like this. Because I can't set it on my desk because I just have so much stuff on my desk that it'll knock something over that's not supposed to be knocked over, which I've done before. I spent, what, $23 on the Inglot Duraline. The day that I got it, I knocked it off my elbow and the entire thing spilled on the ground. So now that I've kind of done like a half crease part there, I'm gonna go in with the green and do the exact same thing. So now that the green is nice and thick, I'm gonna do the exact same thing, but I'll show you guys how I blend the blue and the green too. But I start by just putting down the green line first, just to have that piece of comfort that I already did it. And then to merge the blue and the green, I just take a little bit of the excess water that I'm using and blend them together. As you can see, they merge pretty nicely, like it's not too hard. And then I kind of just go over it until I'm pretty satisfied with the blend. And you can go back and forth too. Like somebody asked, how did I get into doing artsy makeup, like line work, and did I do like art class? So yes, actually, before I started doing makeup, I was really into drawing. So I would draw like mandalas. So I think because I did that all the time and I love doing that on paper, I was like, maybe I could do that on my eyes, and it worked out. So I'll definitely be doing more like line work because I just love doing that. It seems so like elegant to me, like especially when it's in white. It's just so pretty and so like, whoa, at least to me. But yeah, I love doing line work and stuff. And then same thing to blend the yellow and the green together. I'm just going in with a little bit of excess water. Now that that's all done, it looks really nice and blended. I'm gonna do this eye and then I will show you guys my next step. Okay, so now that that's done, as you can see, like you really don't need to do that whole cut thing. But now I'm gonna go in with the white Super Beauty eyeliner in Space Panda and do a thin line underneath those colors. Kind of create a difference because I'm gonna do yellow, green to blue under here, and I don't want the green to like clash because I just hate when that happens. So I'm just gonna make a thin line because it'll just separate everything. So just doing the same thing, going right underneath. And the nice thing about these nail brushes is if you lay them down a certain way, it'll stay the same thickness like the whole way. Okay, so now that that's done, I'm going to wait for it to dry, do the other eye, and then I'll come back and show you what my next step is. So I just want to take the time on here to say thank you guys for 120K on my TikTok and hitting 20K on my Instagram. That's insane. I never thought anything like that would happen to me. And here's a good tip. So if you're gonna do makeup and post it on Instagram, make sure you're not doing it for the wrong reasons. Do it because you love it, you know, do it because it's your favorite thing to do. You know, show off your skills, show off your work, of course. But I think a lot of times people will get super discouraged when they're relying on other people's input and they're relying on other people's feedback and likes and comments and stuff. And that's not what it's about. It's about you and improving yourself, getting to a place that you want to be at, because those comments, you know, a lot of times, I know I've been there before where I've only gotten like maybe a few comments and less likes than I thought that I would, and I would feel super discouraged. Like before, a few weeks ago, I wasn't gonna post makeup anymore. I was just strictly gonna focus on being an esthetician. Then I was like, this is something that I love doing. What would be the point in stopping? And then I kept going, and since then I have gained like 120,000 followers, which is insane. That's crazy. I never thought that would happen to me. And I don't rely on, you know, comments. I don't rely on likes. If it doesn't get the amount of likes that I hoped for, that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's still giving other people inspiration, and it's still, you know, showing off what you can do. And to me, that's really important. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut the crease again with the P. Louise base underneath the white. And then at the end, you want to go up so that way the colors will flick together nicely. Okay, so now that that's done, you're going to try your best not to look up, because so many times I have made that horrible mistake and it will screw up the whole thing. So try your best. I'm going to go in with the shade Back Chat in this palette, and I'm just going to put that on the outer part. Oops, piece of glass. And I like to use a small brush like this This one is, the name on here is rubbed off, but I'll try and see if I could find it because this is my favorite brush to use for packing on shades. I'm sorry if you hear my stomach rumbling. And even if you can't get that close up, don't worry about it. It takes practice. Like, for me, my left eye, rough. And that's okay. It's okay to have uneven eyeshadow because we're all learning. We're all practicing. We're all just trying to figure it out. And that's all right, folks. So if you're practicing and you're like, I can't, there's no way. There's no way. I'll never be able to do stuff like that. I said the same thing. And here I am doing the things that I never thought I could do. So don't sell yourself short. Don't do it because you can do it. I promise. During quarantine, I've had all of this time to perfect some of my techniques and some of my work, and I'm really proud at how far I've come. So I'm going into the number 3. I'm using the shade Tahiti Green, which is just a shiny green. So, and if any of you comment and say bad mirrors are bad luck, I'm aware. It was an accident. I stepped on it. That's what happens, folks, when you're neglectful of your things. So I'm actually gonna go into the shade Fair Play and put that there because the shimmery yellow that I have isn't very bright. So I'm going back in with the white, and I'm just gonna make a thin line to connect from here all the way up, so that way I don't have to do any extra stuff, because sometimes I just hate blending this all the way down under there and trying to get it and trying to get all the colors and gradient, and I just can't sometimes. Today's one of those days. Just like that. So now that this part's done and she's all looking good and stuff, I'm gonna go ahead and finish that part on this eye, and then I'll come back and I'll show you the underneath. Okay, so now that both eyes are done on the top, I'm gonna go ahead and do the underneath. So basically it's just the same thing that I did up here. So going back in with that dark blue color that we used, I'm just going to, it doesn't really matter, like, at least to me, doesn't matter like underneath to have like a base or anything, just cause, I mean, like she's not the star of the show, you know what I'm saying? On the end, I go like this, only a little bit, because then we'll go in with the other colors. But I am gonna add a bit of black too, just because I feel like the tones don't match unless I add black. So then going back in with that green that I used. Oh, I got into a skating accident. I was skating alone and I was headed towards the curb and I didn't know how to stop. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll just get off and run, folks. And that's exactly what I did. And I flew. I busted my elbow, busted my knee, both knees, and busted my left hip. I'm gonna go ahead and do a quick waterline before I move on. So I take a little bit of the P. Louise and a flat brush once again. And then you don't want to pull too hard because we don't want to, you know, give us any extra wrinkles. So just placing like a little teensy bit, my waterline, and then I'm gonna go in with this bright green and just pack that on there. All right, I'm gonna do something on the inner corner. I'm gonna take this Morphe M431 brush and I'm gonna use a pigment. And the pigment that I'm gonna use is from Rose Cosmetics, right? They're an Australian company. And she was kind enough to reach out to me and offer to send me some of her stuff. And she sent me a few of their loose pigments, and I'm obsessed. This one is in the shade Tequila, and you'll see. It's so different than any other pigment that I've used, because it's like, especially this one, it's like, whoa, that is crazy. And like, that's so pretty. And she's so sweet, so like, I'll tag her in the description box below. Also, this fun shirt that I have is from the brand No Sad. They reached out to me and they wanted to send me some stuff. And they sent me a sweatshirt too, which I'll wear at the end of the video. Their stuff is so cool, like their designs are super cool. I'm obsessed with this and the sweatshirt. I wear them all the time. I've gotten a lot of compliments on the sweatshirt too, actually. I believe that the collection is dropping on November 14th. So perfect for the winter months. But I'm gonna go ahead and finish my other eye, and then I'll talk about my lashes and do my lips, and then I'll show you the final product. So I put my mascara on. I used the Bad Gal Bang from Benefit. It's pretty good. I like the Essence Lash Princess, the green one. That one's really nice. So lashes. Today I'm gonna use, these are Princess Empire lashes in the style Baddie. These are some of my favorite lashes. They're super pretty. I'll show you. Well, this is the lipstick that I use. It's the Kylie Velvet Lip in the shade Savage, and I'll show you how I do them. Usually I use an exfoliator before I start my makeup, but I usually start my bottom lip. And I kind of underline the underneath. Just I like that look, you know? I don't overline the top because then I feel like it'll just look a little crazy. There's my lips that I always use to shade like natural or crazy makeup. I always use that lipstick because it's just super pretty. And it looks good on me, I think. I'm also gonna use the Rose Cosmetics gloss that they sent me. I'm not really a gloss gal, but this one's really pretty. See, it's like kind of has a nice shift to it. Love, see? And it's not sticky or anything either, which I was kind of worried about because I usually don't wear lip gloss because it's sticky. But this one feels like a lip oil almost. So I put my lashes on with my fingers and I start at the end because that's just the way I like doing it. There's a hair in there though. And then I bring the inner corner down and I hold it there for a fat second. And then I just push the whole lash band against my eye, but since the inner corner is the most important, I hold it down there for longer. And then I squeeze the lash band to my natural lashes. So those are the lashes. See, they're like so pretty, but they're so big, which I love. I love big lashes. So I'm gonna apply the other one, do my hair, and then I'll come back and we'll do the outro. So here is my final look. Like I said, this sweatshirt is from NoSad. I'll tag them in the description box. You guys can use the code Payton for $5 off. You can also use code Payton on the lashes as well. So this is my final look. I'll put like pictures and stuff up so you guys can see. And you guys can check out my Instagram and my TikTok at Paytons.makeup. If you guys want to see some extra videos or some extra pictures, which I usually post a day or two after I do them. I hope you guys liked watching this video. I had a lot of fun filming it. Usually I say I'm gonna film a YouTube video and then I film it and then I don't edit it. This one's going up. So I hope to post more YouTube videos, like more on like my skull looks, like my details and stuff. And I hope these tips and tricks were super helpful for you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said, I'll be tagging all the brands and my social media and stuff in the description box below. And I hope to see you guys on my other platform. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye!